Hello and welcome back. Welcome back to the Random Show, episode number 65. A little special, rare, early one, because usually I'm always doing these things at the dead of night, and it's flipping night, and it's flipping dark, and you can't see my face, and it's flipping night, and it's flipping dark. But today we're going to do one early, and hopefully you will enjoy it. Hopefully you will enjoy the calm, soothing tones of my aggressive form of comedy during the day. It might be during the night in other places, but for now it's going to be during the day over here. But regardless, hope you're doing well wherever you may find this show. Hope you are doing absolutely fantastic. I am doing splendid as per usual. You know, living the life, living the vida loca, allowing it, putting it one foot in front of the other, and making life as amazing as I can be. This is the Random Show with myself, AgostinhoZinga, and this is episode number 65 of the Random Show. We are hurtling through those numbers, running through those numbers, and I am flipping Usain Bolt. I am, what else? Who's the other? Haile Gabriel Selassie, whatever else runner I can think of. Selassie probably isn't a runner, but big up! Big up everybody that's here. Big up everybody that's going to be tuning in later. I do appreciate all of you. It's not going to be a super long one today. It's just going to be an hour because I've got to nip off. But I thought I would get in front of you guys and speak while the sun is still out, whilst you can see the whole symmetry of my face and arms and all that good stuff, and we can have a jolly good time. All right, a jolly bloody good time. Big up the chat, big up everybody that's joining in. Hope all of yous are okay and hanging in there and doing the damn thing. I am doing splendid, as you can tell. The beard is growing nice and thick, the hair is unkept, and the body somewhat showered, but we do what we can, innit? We do what we can. But yeah, big up the guys, big up the chat. Hopefully you guys are enjoying the show, and you will enjoy it as we continue. As per usual, the only thing I ask from you is to make sure that you are liking the stream. Please like the stream if you enjoy it. That would be greatly appreciated. And of course, make sure if you want also, you can, what else? What can you do? You can also subscribe, as someone else subscribed earlier on today. You could do that also. That will also be greatly appreciated. I'm not going to lie. That will be greatly appreciated. What are people saying here? Big up everybody in the thing. Kested Moses, Graham Barber. Big up Proven 187. Big up Dennis. What's that? Dennis Stytar. Everybody in the chat, big up. Let's just run through this stuff because, like I said, I've only got an hour, but I went to stream anyway and give you guys a little bit of content. Little bit of content to start things off with. Do you guys remember this? Do you remember this? Do you remember this iconic flipping drop from the one and only legend that is Webby? I just saw this on my timeline now, and I thought I'd play it for you because I thought this is absolutely hilarious, man. He cannot read for the life of me, but you know what's funny about him? He's struggling to read the names of the hosts of The Breakfast Club on Power 105, but I think if he heard them, he could repeat them. So I think he's got that problem. So he's got the opposite of Brendan problem. Brendan can't even compute the words in his head, and he says them wrong in the first place. But I think Webby can understand what the word means, can probably repeat it phonetically if you said it to him, but reading it off a paper is a madness, which might be the form of dyslexia. I'm not too sure if it is a form of dyslexia. I think dyslexia, you see the words in different orders, right? I think that's what it is. Is it different orders or they come? I don't know what it is. But anyway, let's play it and let's see what Webby's saying.
DJ Envy, Angela Gee, and Saleh, my God. Let me read that part. God damn, girl. Y'all got some names on that now. What up? What up? You already know who it is. It's me, Webby the Tree FM, Young Savage, Sweet John Jr. Doing what I do when I do what I do, and I'm doing it with my girl, DJ Envy, Angela Yee. Damn. Hold up. DJ Envy, Angela Yee, and Charlotte McGay. Man,
calling him Charlotte McGay is hilarious because for the longest time there were these dumb rumors that were happening around the scene that Charlemagne was gay because he liked to flipping, do gay jokes because he was had friends with like Schultz and stuff. For some reason in the black community, if you do overly gay jokes and you're constantly ribbing on that sort of stuff, people immediately think you're gay. But actual funny jokes, not like the horrible gay jokes that Brendan does where they kind of sound like he's being insulting to the gay community. When you actually do actual funny gay jokes, for some reason the black community, people think you're gay. So whenever Charlemagne kept doing that, and then for the longest time he kept giving DJ Envy very sus gifts. I remember one time he gave him a mold of his bum that I think was made into a cake or something crazy. But so that's why the Charlemagne gay thing was quite funny. But it's just hilarious that he can't even say Angela Yee, which is a properly, you know, when you see it on a bit of paper, that should be the easiest name to pronounce, right? Angela Yee. It sounds exactly how it looks, sort of thing. But big up Webbie anyway, as a legend. Hey. Come on, what's happening here? Why is it restarting for? Come on. What's happening? Come on, blood. Could not be replayed. Why is that? Come on, son. Oh, there you go. It's back now.
Y'all got some names on that now. What up, you already know who it is. It's me, Webbie the Tree Fam, Young Savage, Sweet Jones Jr. Doing what I do, and I'm doing it with my girl, DJ Envy, Angela Lee, Angela Yee. Damn. Hold up. DJ Envy, Angela Yee, and Charlemagne Gay. Man, hold up. Oh, Charlemagne. DJ Envy, Angela Yee, and Charlemagne. The God. DJ Lee. Hold up. DJ Envy, Angela Lee, and Charlemagne McGain. What up, you already know who it is. It's me, Webbie the Tree Fam, Young Savage, Sweet Jones, and you rocking with DJ Envy, Angela Yee, and Charlemagne. I don't think I'll never be able to say that right now. I mean, Charlemagne. Hold on, say it one more time. Charlemagne the God. Charlemagne the God. Who that is? The asshole. Come on, you ready? Let's do it. What up? It's me, Webbie the Tree Fam, Young Savage, Sweet Jones, and you kicking it with DJ Envy, Angela Yee, and Charlemagne the God. This is the Breakfast Club, baby.
He got there in the end. Big up my guy Webbie. Sometimes reading like that phonetically can be a bit difficult, especially when you're doing drops, I can imagine, innit? It's an absolute madness. But big up my guy, John Fury, right? This is the person who's on the cover for today's show. John Fury deciding at the end of Tommy Fury's fight to basically offer out Jake Paul as his outside the ring is hilarious, because this reminds me a lot of the scene that I used to see in my local area, like where I used to live in Canning Town, Custom House sort of area. There'd be these chavvy dudes who essentially were agents of flipping National Front. If you don't know what a National Front is, Google it. And these guys are the ones who made me hate Reebok, because they all used to wear Reebok. They'd buy these Reebok flipping classics from Littlewood catalogs, and they'd have these, you know, Nike or, you know, Umbro tracksuits and stuff, and they'd wear their hair in a certain way, and they'd use some very racially divisive language, let's say, and chase us around the neighborhood because of this color of our skin. But the funny part about it was that most of these guys' daughters ended up hooking up with black dudes, or ended up having black kids in general, right? It's just, or just their sons in general would have kind of mixed race kids, which they always hated. And usually that kid will grow up to be extremely white. It wouldn't be like the kind of white kid. No, they wouldn't be the kind of mixed race kid that would kind of be more black, like a Drake sort of thing. They'd be a proper mixed race kid that didn't really like the black side of their family, because naturally their family would maybe bad mind or say some not so nice things about the black side of their family. So I've seen this vision of this person before. And if you want to extend it even further, there is a big gypsy community sometimes that kind of occupies the east of London, that's kind of going towards Essex, like past like Dagenham and Barking and stuff, and those guys are really with it. They're a serious bunch, and from day we all knew not to mess with them because they had serious hands. They'd always carry flipping shanks with them, and they really were about business. They didn't muck around. So when I saw this John Fury thing, it made me laugh, because I know these guys to be serious gypsies. They don't muck around. Like when they've got an issue, if you say something out of turn about their family or whatever it may be, they're gonna put it on you live and direct. They're not gonna do this whole show. And the fact that John Fury was in the ring, took off his t-shirt, ran to the ropes like this big wrestling thing, and was barking things at Jake Paul as he's outside the ring was silly, because if he wanted to get to him and if he was really about business, he would have got to him. He didn't need to do the whole rah-rah, chest pumping, no bullshit. But, you know, this is entertainment, you know, and they're gonna do whatever they need to do to kind of sell the fight when that eventually does get booked, because clearly this, I reckon, is part of the promotion also. Maybe it wasn't on purpose, but definitely this is something you can add to the promo reel when you want to sell the fights and get people to buy pay-per-views. Seeing a topless, you know, overweight, bald man shouting at some flipping 22 or 25, wherever old Jake Paul is outside the ring, is definitely might get you to separate yourself from your hard-earned cash. But I thought this was flipping hilarious, absolutely hilarious to watch the actual video of it, because he looks legitimately tapped out, like legitimately tapped out. Imagine this being your dad. Like, imagine. And the worst thing as well is that, imagine Jake Paul sparks him out. Then what? Then you have to kill Jake Paul, right? You have to kill the man. If this guy ends up kind of, you know, slipping the punch that he's going to throw at Jake Paul and then hooking your dad in the side of the chin and he goes night-night, you're going to have to kill that man because you touched your dad. That's a bad thing about having a dad that's an absolute psycho. You're going to have to kill him because he touched your dad.
Guys, hold on. Hold on.
Look at that.
Now John Fury is taking the shirt off. Hold on. John's coming after him here.
That's some wrestling shit.
John Fury trying to get out of the ring and get to Jake here.
One arm, see? I've been to many clubs. I know what the deal is when it comes to people and wanting to fight and stuff. When you want to fight for real, you'll get to somebody. You won't let security stop you. The fact that these guys are just calmly watching him, this old drunk man who's probably high, you know, doing what he's doing and just putting one arm out, they know it's not serious. Because if he wanted to get to him, he could have slipped those ropes and jumped over, did loads of things, tumbled over, dived through, whatever it may be, jumped off the top rope like Rey Mysterio Jr. and gave him the elbow. Anything that could have been done if you really wanted to touch the dude.
This is unfolded terribly, folks. Now John showing some shadow boxing.
What did he say? He said, I killed somebody. Did you hear him? What did he say? I killed what? What did he say? No, did he just admit to killing somebody live on camera? What did he say there? I killed. I think he changed his words. Let me see that again. Let me see that again. Did he say I killed somebody?
I'm the king of the band, man. Yo, I just like my team. All your
Nobody likes you. You're embarrassing. You're a fat, miserable old man. You're a fat.
Wow, folks. Very incensed here at ringside, telling Jake he's the king of the bare knuckle. Both John Fury and Tom.
I love the fact that he's not. You know what would be amazing if they set up a fight where Jake Paul gets to fight John Fury and Tommy Fury. That would be amazing. Imagine if there was a fight where they said, hey, if you want to fight Tommy Fury, you got to spark out his dad first. And it'll give Tommy Fury extra motivation to actually start throwing his hands and be active in the fight if he sees his dad get knocked out before. So the fight stipulation will be Jake can only fight Tommy Fury if he knocks out John. That would be absolute, or if he knocks out flipping Fury Senior, that would be absolutely sick. I'd pay $20 for that. You'd get my $20, you'd get my 30, you get 50, you might even get 100 from me if you tell me that Jake Paul has to fight John Fury and spark him out in order to fight Tommy in the same night. Forget doing it the other way, do it the same night, bruv. I'd pay my hard-earned money to see that fight. I swear to God, I'd pay it. I'd pay it all up. I'd really pay it. I really would. But what an absolute legend. Let's see the other angle as well. Look at that face. I know when I've seen somebody high off something going crazy in a club, I can see it in his eyes, bro. This guy is off that Zazazi.
I'm the king of the band, man. Yo, I can fight Mike Tyson to the death.
What? What did he say? I can kill fight. What? What did he say here? I can kill or I've killed.
I'm the king of the band, man. Yo, I can fight Mike Tyson to the death. I'm the king of the band, man. Yo, I can fight Mike Tyson to the death.
I don't know what he's saying, but that is mad if he admitted inadvertently that he might have killed somebody. The funny thing about John Fury is that when you type in his name on Twitter to search for the videos, you get all this furry stuff that comes up, like all this weird, sus, you know, stuff that you probably, you know, maybe have to, maybe it's a bit over 18 stuff that comes on the back of it. Look at this stuff. Look at it. Look what you get. You get all this like interesting cartoons Like, I searching for his name. I was like, because I guess I typed in John Fury. I didn't type in John Fury. Maybe it's my fault for getting the name wrong. But if you type that in, look at the animations you get. Big up my furry community. Big up the furry boys out there. You get some interesting cartoons, innit? Like Bear, Fury, hashtag furry art. Jesus Christos, man. That's one thing I'm really thankful for. Like, I have my oddities, I have my weirdnesses. I'm prone to doing some interesting things, but I'm just so happy that I don't have any biological temperament or wiring that would make me attracted to flipping cartoons of bears and stuff, or get dressed up and stuff like that. And I'm interested in it as a subculture. I think it's pretty cool because they clearly spend a lot of money on their outfits and they go to some real great lengths to flipping don all of it and turn into the characters and whatnot. But in terms of it being a kink, something that gets me boing, 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 I'm so thankful I'm just a standard missionary, man. You know what I mean? I don't have anything else going on because God almighty, imagine seeing stuff like this and thinking, ooh la la, right? Seeing this on a Christmas tree and really getting kind of hyper and active on it to the point where you actually want to do something and maybe, you know, imagine going out with your partner on a date to the arcade dressed up like this and actually thinking, you know, this is the way to live. Like, I don't know what I'd do to myself, to be honest. But hey, everyone's free to do their thing. Let's not kink shame this early in the morning. Big up everybody who's into what they're into. It's all good. I love all of you, especially if I've got any furries in my community. Big up your chest, and let me know where you get your uniforms from so I know where to wear the stuff when I want to go and do some Halloween trick or treat. Big up, yeah, big up the morning furry segment. Yes! Big up the big bears! The big bears! Oh, God almighty, mate. What is going on here? Let's move on from that one. Let's quickly start. Oh, my God, my computer's going so slow today. I think I've got too many things open. As per usual, it's always my time. Okay, cool. Let's move on here. Let's move on. Oh, yeah, let's do this first. Oi. Can I just say categorically, as a resident IC3 male, aka black man, I do not think Black Panther is that good of a movie. The first one was pretty decent, as, you know, superhero movies go, but this whole idea or this whole impression that some people have in the black community that Wakanda should be some real place and that is our once forgotten land, and maybe if the white man never got us over here on boats, maybe the whole of Africa would be one big Wakanda. You guys must stop. It's make-believe. Make your life amazing, your actual real life. Don't put value in flipping cartoons and comics and superheroes and stuff that doesn't exist. Please, for the love of God, please. It's embarrassing. That whole Wakanda thing with the arm thing, that was pretty decent when, what's his face? Chadwick Boseman was still alive. R.I.P. to the GOAT. When Chadwick Boseman was alive, that thing was cool. Now, it's not so cool. Please allow it. Relax. Wakanda forever. No, get your life together. That's what you should be talking about. Getting your life together. And when I see scenes like this, it absolutely annoys me. I really want to hand in my black card. Whatever black card I have, if you don't even think I have one, whichever one I have, I see stuff like this and I'm like, this is so embarrassing. Look at this scene. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Clearly they're American. Wakanda forever. Whatever nonsense, right? They're outside of some cinema. But can you imagine how embarrassing it would be to see these flipping people like doing the African dances and stuff, right? These Azontos and whatever Afrobeat dances outside of a flipping cinema. After, not even, is this after watching the movie or they're doing it before watching the movie? You're there with your flipping massive popcorn and your juice and somebody you don't really want to come with, but they tagged along with you to come and watch a movie. You're already annoyed. You don't know where your phone is. Your hands are covered in flipping Coca-Cola. And here you are. And here they are flipping dancing outside there. Man, if you don't get your fucking ass in the flipping cinema and sit down, I'm about to kick somebody in the chest, Spartan style. You know what I mean? Like, what the hell is this, man? Are you for sure? Look at this. Look at this. What kind of forever? Look. What is this? What is this? All right. Man. Get your life together. That's what you should be doing, man. Get your life together. And from what I've seen of the trailer and the flipping movie itself, it's trash, man. The sequel is trash. It's turned into the old MCU things. They've made it ideologically possessed. Every woman in there flipping looks like fucking Thor. They're knocking out 1 million guys all on their own. Like, sod off, man. The whole thing has been spoiled anyway for the sake of money. And supposedly there's a third coming. There's a trilogy. If the second one wasn't bad enough, they're going to milk it. It's going to be a trilogy. Black Panther is finished. It's done. If they didn't recast the Black Panther, why continue it with all this nonsense? It's absolutely dead. And I hate it. I hate it so much, man. This idea that there's somehow a real place, it should be something. Bruv, get your life together. Please. No more Wakanda forever. I've had enough. I've had enough. God almighty, man. These people get on my bloody nerves. Next, we're going to quickly play this clip that features Bruno Fernandes and Cristiano Ronaldo. If you're not familiar, you would know that I'm a huge Manchester United fan, and there's been some drama happening with Cristiano Ronaldo because he decided to do a tell-all interview with Piers Morgan and basically air out the entire club, right? Air them out. Empty the clip. Told the club that they disrespected him. He feels betrayed. You know, they didn't believe him when one of his kids was really ill, and that's why he couldn't go to the preseason tour, and loads of other things concerning club politics going on there. And everybody and their dog, for the most part, is occupying a position of Ronaldo should have never done like this. He disrespected the club. He should never disrespect the manager. He should never disrespect the badge. No player is bigger than the club. When the truth is, he is bigger than the club, especially the club now in its current iteration. But overall, if what he's saying is going to eventually lead to the Glazers going out and selling the club, then I'm all for it. I'm all for it. So I'm backing Ronaldo. I'm turning around again, and I'm flipping doing a U-turn, and I'm going against my point in previous videos or previous podcasts. And I'm saying Ronaldo is right. Ronaldo is right. So when I saw this interaction between Bruno Fernandes and Cristiano Ronaldo as they meet up for international duty ahead of the World Cup, yes, you heard it right. The World Cup is coming up in Qatar in the winter. Absolute travesty. But hey, we'll continue to watch it because we've got nothing else to watch anyway. They met up for the first time, and Bruno Fernandes kinda iced, you know, kind of iced Bruno Ronaldo a little bit. It felt a little bit dodgy, but let's play the video and you can see what I mean. Come on. What do we think about that? What do you think about that? My first opinion from this when I saw it the first time was that I felt like this was real big hall monitor, Randall, narc behavior. I don't know about you guys, but have you ever worked somewhere and you had an issue with someone, especially if you work in like a shop? Because I think always a good example is service industry jobs, because I think the politics and the inner goings on and the interpolitics, whatever it may be, personal, what happens on the shop floor and in the bar and the restaurant is really, really interesting. And usually I feel like those places are a great place for you to really mature, to meet different people, to learn how to to learn how to deal with conflict, just to learn how to, you know, navigate the workplace, how to ask for promotion, time off, all that kind of stuff is important. Have you ever worked in a workplace somewhere where one of your one of your colleagues has a problem with a manager? Doesn't need to be a store manager, can be an assistant, a supervisor, but somebody in a managerial position has an issue with one of your friends that is your colleague on the shop floor. What usually happens sometimes is that the manager will try and curry favor with you and basically try and badmouth your colleague to you and try and get you on their side. But if you're a smart person, you don't play either side. You stay completely neutral because it's none of your business. You don't act differently with your colleague because the manager doesn't like them and you don't want to be tarred with the same brush. And you also don't suck up to your manager because your colleague that doesn't like the manager, so you can demonstrate, oh, he or she isn't that bad. Because in general, you have to assume, or you have to be under the assumption that you guys as staff members have way more in common and should be more of a team than you should be with the management. Because when push comes to shove, the first people to get fired if they have to make sweeping changes will be the staff members, right? The people at the entry level, the people on the shop floor, the people on the bar floor, the restaurant floor. So kind of fighting, amongst each other is a bit useless if you want to gain the favor of the manager. You should never do that. So when I saw this, I thought it was a bit lame because Bruno Fernandes, regardless of what he thinks personally about what Ronaldo's doing, he should never publicly make it known that he doesn't, flipping agree with it and that he's going to give him a cold handshake and make it known that what he did was out of order. Man, fuck all that. Because if it push comes to shove and this guy's not playing well and he wants to have more minutes on the pitch, Bruno Fernandes, they're going to ice him out and they're going to treat him the same way they treated Ronaldo. So he shouldn't have done that, in my opinion. I thought that was lame. I thought that was horrible and I didn't like it whatsoever. So, and also on the other part of it, when it comes to Ronaldo and this whole conversation in general, I believe him. I believe, personally, the main thing that really probably pissed him off was the fact that he wanted to go last summer. He made it quite known. He didn't come out publicly and say it, but from the rumors that we heard and the links that were being made and the clubs that were clarifying that they weren't interested, it was obvious that his agent was floating his name to various clubs. Now, I think what happened was that the club said he couldn't leave because they wanted to milk the money out of him because they weren't sure how this season would go with Erik ten Hag. They weren't sure if we were going to get top 4 football. So they wanted to ensure that they had a cash cow that they could milk by having Ronaldo at the club. And if you don't think that's right, look at what he said regarding the preseason tour. They wanted to rush him to come back to the preseason tour or to go to the preseason tour in the first place, even though they knew that he was having issues with his family in terms of the, recovering from the death of one of his children, and also that one of the other kids, I think the twins, because I think one twin unfortunately died and the other one was very sick. That's why he couldn't go to the preseason tour and he decided to sacrifice preseason tour in order to stay with his family. But obviously United had probably built that whole preseason tour around him in terms of promoting him around Southeast Asia, getting his name out there, selling loads of merch and making loads of money. So I think that same club that were looking at him side-eye, that weren't believing him about his kid being ill, will be the same club that will be like, you're not leaving after 1 year. No way. We're going to have to milk you at least for 2. So now they're going to milk him for 2 years. They didn't let him go in the summer. He obviously threw his toys out of the pram because he never wanted to be there. And then on the top of that, Erik ten Hag comes in, who has a completely different vision of how he wants to play. He doesn't want to have these guys involved and stuff, whatever it may be. He doesn't want to have Ronaldo play up front for him. So clearly, I think Ronaldo's saying the truth. So I've got Ronaldo's back in this regard, and I don't care what anyone else says. And I clearly do think as well, when it comes to him having words to say about the Glazers, I flipping love it. I love it. I love the fact that he came out categorically and said the Glazers do not care about the football club. No other player has said that. No other current player, especially a legend such as Cristiano Ronaldo, has come out and said the Glazers do not care about the club. And Ronaldo said it with his whole bloody chest. The Glazers, they don't care about the club. And I'm hoping this is the way forward and the Glazers eventually do sell off the back of this pressure. It's probably unlikely because the Glazers seem to be immune to being embarrassed publicly. They're like flipping... They're like what's his name? What's that flipping guy's name with the beard that Trump said his dad was killed JFK? They're like that guy, right? They have like an embarrassment fetish. They don't really care about being embarrassed or shamed in public, which is absolutely annoying. But I 100% believe Ronaldo. I think he's telling the truth. I also believe the club is in the wrong, and I can't wait until the Glazers eventually end up selling the club and we end up being where we need to be. The fact that the interview was filmed last week is also absolutely hilarious. After he apologized, after he was made captain, after he was integrated back into the club, they then decided to go and do a tele interview with Piers Cruz. I absolutely love that that kind of hesitance. I love the fact that he has that urge to press the destruction button and really go for it. I believe him. Next on the list, we have this news, courtesy of various news outlets out there, that Trump is going to announce he's going to be running again for a re-election, even though some people don't want to see it. And I'm all for it. We need entertainment. I was just moaning to someone the other day that I don't have any good TV series to watch because all the good ones are finished. I've just started watching Barbarians on Netflix, which is pretty decent. I'm watching The Peripheral on Amazon, which is okay. I'm watching Andor, that Star Wars series on Disney, which is pretty decent. But the best entertainment of all was definitely when Trump was in power. I know for you Americans, some of you guys, it might be a little bit annoying and a little bit upsetting, because day to day living with this guy as your leader is probably not the best. I understand it, but from an outsider's point of view, somebody that's not involved in your politics, that lives nowhere near you guys, for me, it was blockbuster TV. It was entertaining to the core to see this man try and be presidential, even though every fiber in his being would not let him, and the mask would slip on a continual basis. I flipping loved it. And I also love the fact that, similar to what's going on with Elon Musk at the moment, he seems to just trigger people. Elon, I guess, because he maybe says some things, or maybe his sycophants maybe can rub people up the wrong way. But Trump also has an ability with very little words, with very weird sentences and statements. He has a real ability to just trigger people, to get people all in a tizzy and get them all hot and bothered and agitated through some stuff that he says. And I cannot wait for the piss to be boiled as he decides to run for re-election again and say all manner of nonsense in order to make the press. And obviously, as you can see here, the headlines: Trump to barrels ahead with a campaign reveal despite Republican pushback by The Guardian. They're letting you know where they stand on it. Trump v. DeSantis, which is the DeSantis, which would be a really good battle, I think. Trump expected to announce his 2024 US presidential bid from Mar-a-Lago, says the Financial Times. Let's actually click that and see what they're saying, because I would like to hear more details regarding that. But I definitely cannot wait to see this guy do what he does best and make a mockery of the White House in real time. It says here, Donald Trump is widely expected to launch a third bid for the White House on Tuesday night, despite several of his hand-picked candidates losing in the last week's midterms elections, and a growing chorus of voices within the Republican Party urging the former president to step aside. Step aside, you know. These people really think that he's going to be gracious and be adult enough and be gentlemanly enough and grown up enough to step aside. You don't know that guy at all then. He's set to make what his advisors have described as a special announcement at Mar-a-Lago, his resort on Palm Beach, Florida, which Trump referred to as his winter White House. Winter White... Hilarious. For more than a year, he has made no secret of his desire to run again for the presidency in 2024. Oh, actually, going back to the White House, wasn't Trump the first president not to stay there? Right? He didn't actually stay there because he didn't think the conditions were good enough. He didn't think it was plush enough for his liking. Or am I mistaken? Wasn't he the first president that didn't? Obviously, the tax return thing was a big deal, but I'm pretty sure he didn't actually stay in the White House. He said, nah, this isn't good enough. I need to stay in, you know, in an actual bougie upmarket hotel. I can't be slumming it in this flipping hellhole. Like, hilarious. For more than a year, he's made no secret of his desire to run again for presidency in 2024, repeating his baseless claims that the 2020 election was rigged and stolen from him. If a former president had so far the former president has so far held off on formally launching a campaign, in part of urging his advisors, national Republicans, who do not want him to overshadow last week's midterms. Okay, cool. So he didn't announce it beforehand because of the midterms. Get it. After the midterms, however, Trump faced fresh calls to delay his announcement after Republicans underperformed expectations, and many of the blockbuster endorsements, including Senate candidates Mehmet Oz, Blake Masters, Adam Laxalt, and Carrie fell short of their races. Oh, Blake Masters didn't win. All that press he got in the media, and he didn't get in the poll. That's what sometimes I think all this media stuff they do, going on podcasts and stuff, doesn't actually work in the real world. Because I saw this guy's name everywhere, Blake Masters, and he didn't win the poll. Like, okay, shitty. It continues. Others made private and public appeals for the former president to step off the political stage altogether, allow the new generation of Republicans to seek their party nomination in 2024, notably Ron DeSantis, Florida's Republican governor, who won re-election last week by a landslide of 19 points. Now, if Ron DeSantis is actually the guy, he should compete on the field with Donald Trump. If he's what people think he is, that's what he should do. He shouldn't ask Donald Trump to step aside. Because if you're a Trump supporter and you're a Trump sycophant, Will you be a DeSantis fan too? I don't think you will be, because as much as DeSantis boils the piss of Democrats, he seems to be quite reasonable from the stuff that I've heard of him speak. Obviously, he has these loony bin opinions on some points of view, but he's not as far gone as Trump. He can be reasoned with also, so I don't think all Trump fans will be DeSantis fans and vice versa. But I think if you're DeSantis and you think you're that guy, you want to spar and battle with Trump head to head. I don't think you'd want him to flip and step to one side. It continues. A YouGov poll conducted after last week's elections and published on Sunday showed that 42% of Americans who identify as Republicans or lean towards Republican Party said that they would prefer to see DeSantis as party nomination in 2024 compared to the 35% who said they prefer Trump. Oh, really? For those of you in the chat who are Republicans, don't be afraid. Say out loud with your chest. If you had to vote between DeSantis and Trump, who would you vote for? Again, I'm not American, so I have no say in this. Personally, I just love Trump and the flipping havoc that he causes over there. But let me know in the chat. If you had to decide to vote between Trump and DeSantis, who would you go for? Who would be your guy if you had to decide out of them in terms of the Republican ticket? Let me know in the chat. Let me know. If you watch this afterwards, let me know in the comments who you would go for. DeSantis, or flipping Trump. Please tell me. DeSantis I rate a lot just because of his reaction to flipping COVID. The fact that he stood up in the face of all the regulations and the restrictions and he questioned the science from minute one. He was really, really skeptical about the lockdowns and stuff and opened up Florida really early and all this type of stuff. I was a real big fan of that because at the time that took real big balls. Now it looks like the sensible thing to do. Everybody is kind of COVID skeptical. But back when COVID was at its red hot, even I was looking at him thinking, wow, man, this is so scary. What are you doing? The grandmas are going to die, blah, 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 blah. But in retrospect, that guy was an absolute boss. That's what real leadership is about. He took a stand. He looked after his state, and look what happened in the end. He was, eventually vindicated in his decision. What people are saying here, DeSantis 2024, let's go in general, but the rest of the people do not want to make their political leanings known. I completely get it. But bear with me 1 second. I got to quickly go get some coffee because I'm running out of energy and I don't want to take another Adderall. Joking! Ha 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 ha! Let's go. Let's go. Done. Yeah. All right. Let's do this. We got the roll. We're rolling in there. Look at that. Iced coffees. I make at least 4 of these every morning. I'm not sure if you guys are the same. I give at least 4 of these every morning. 4 of these every flipping morning. Proven 187, you just got to wake up with a good attitude, man. With a good attitude. You got to be like, I love life, man. No, I'm joking, but you know what it is. You just got to wake up happy to be alive, man. I recovered. I survived Sober October. I survived the crazy weekend I had, and I'm pumped and ready to go. But yeah, I love making these things every flipping night. Every night, I make like 4 cups of coffee. I leave them to the side to cool down. Then I put them in my fridge, and then they're ready in the morning for me to sip with some ice cubes and a little dash of milk. Ooh-wee! We're going sizzler, brother. We're going sizzler. But yeah, I'm definitely high off that daylight, man. That daylight. Definitely high off that daylight. Let's go. But my favorite thing about Trump, I have to say, has always been these flipping lawn press conferences. I love these. Where he does them over the helicopters. I flipping love these. This is my crack. People say, oh, you're always on crack, you're on Adderall, you're on ketamine sometimes, but whatever. No, this is my crack. This is my drug of choice. Watching Trump make journalists scream over helicopter noise. I flipping love it. Let's go. Let's play. Come on, YouTube. Don't delay. This is annoying. Come on. Come on. Come on. Is it going to play? Come on. Hurry up, man. Hurry up. Hurry up, man. Hurry up. Oh, my computer's going absolutely crazy right now. Oh, my God. There we go. It's loading now. It's going to come up in a minute. Bear with me 1 sec. Oh, man. Maybe it's the settings. Maybe I have to get it down to... Let me put it down to 480p. Let me see if that helps. Come on, son. Come on, help me out here. There we go. Okay, it was at 360p and it's still going slow. Whoopsie! Exactly, yeah, my computer needs an addy.
You're competing with a helicopter, John.
Look at him, look at him. I love this.
Say it. Sorry, you have a helicopter roaring in the background. Go ahead. I don't hear you. You got to talk. See that? You have a helicopter. A little louder. Helicopter. A lot of noise. I don't know what. You know, you can't with a helicopter. Well, you have a helicopter. I can't hear you. I can't what? Say it again. I can't hear your question. I can't hear you. 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 I don't hear you. I don't hear you. You got to talk louder. I can't hear you. You have to speak up then. You have a helicopter raging back. For all the people that don't know why, my hearing is great, but you have a helicopter that's raging back there.
Over the last couple of months, I decided I'll do a lot. We'll stop at the helicopter, we'll do this, we'll do a lot of... And then they say, why is he doing so many press conferences? What's wrong? What? So when I don't do them, you say, what's wrong? When I do them, you say, what's wrong? And when I go in the middle, you say, what's wrong?
Do you remember Ronald Reagan? It always, what? I can't hear you. I always thought he was hard of hearing. He wasn't. That's the problem.
All right.
When I say in the middle, you tell me what's wrong. Honestly, he's an absolute legend, man. So hopefully he does compete with Ron DeSantis and we see this head-to-head war go on with him on a Republican ticket and we see who the Republicans end up choosing, because I'm curious to see who Republicans actually go for in real time. Who would they actually decide to go with? I'm absolutely curious. But let's move on from that one and let's actually talk about something that I thought was absolutely hilarious. And obviously some of you guys have mentioned it already here in the stream chat. Flipping Elon crowdsourcing and flipping firing people on Twitter in real time has been absolutely hilarious to watch. I'm not going to lie. Absolutely flipping hilarious. Let me see if I can get this up on here. Bubby. I think it's that one, isn't it? Is it this one? Come on, load. Where is it? Yeah, there it is. Another one here. So this article courtesy of The Verge. Oh, I think I've got a super chat here. Is it? Why does it take so long to come up? There you go. It's finally coming up now. Play the sound. God damn it. Brutal. Anyway, it says here, off topic. Your Callen flip-flops rant had me cracking. Thank you, Dennis Streeter. Thank you, Dennis Streeter. I appreciate you. Thank you for the €5, my friend. Thank you. But yeah, big up Elon Musk for proving to us in real time that taking over a company is way harder than it looks.
Off topic.
Oops.
Your Callen flip-flops rant had me cracking.
Jesus Christ, look at the delay on that one. But anyway, big up Elon Musk for proving in real time how difficult it is to take over a company and also how difficult it is in comparison to starting your own from the ground up. Because we've seen with Elon, he has the ability to start things, maybe not to see them all the way through, but he can start things and make them somewhat successful, make them make a splash, make them maybe, you know, disrupt the industry that it's in, whatever it may be. But in terms of taking over an already established company, it's very difficult to make it work, especially if you're somebody that's coming into it with, I'm going to smash the wokies, I'm going to smash the lefties and get them into line and run this company lean and mean and all this malarkey, because sometimes you don't really understand the inner workings of why they have so many people working on so many different things. It could be, there could be a method to the madness, and I think that's what he's basically seen. As inept or as inadequate or as flipping cumbersome as some people are that work at Twitter, clearly they're doing some type of a good job in order to keep that ship running. And the fact that he came in and just started to fire flame everybody there and torch people and sack them all left and right and make all these sweeping changes has really kind of came up and blown up in his face. The interesting part for me, I feel like, on the other side of things, is how people are so happy and gleeful to see him fail. Because it's temporary, because eventually he'll figure it out anyway, because it's not that crazy of a business to work out. I don't think so. But people in the meantime are really happy to see him flip and fail. None more so than The Verge, New York Times. They're absolutely going in and putting a boot on him, which maybe makes sense because they didn't like him to begin with. But I find it interesting to watch in real time that no one's really trying to I won't say help, but there isn't a lot of encouraging words coming off the back of it. And I think maybe a lot of that has to do with the firings, because I don't think people in general like when others get fired, especially when there's stuff that's reported in the news or the press and stuff like that, especially in startup land. But I think people just don't like it in the slightest, even if it's coming from a sound business mind. Because maybe he's saying, hey, we have to get rid of these people if we want to be somewhat profitable in the future. But it's just courtesy of The Verge. It says Elon Musk ignored Twitter's internal warnings about his paid verification scheme. It says on Thursday evening, after a full day of chaos on timeline, Elon Musk's Twitter halted the enrollment of the $8 a month Blue subscription offering. The offering anyone a chance to slap a verified badge on their account had led to widespread impersonation of government officials, corporations, and celebrities. The resulting mayhem, which led to memorable hoaxes from accounts of misrepresenting themselves, such as Eli Lilly, Tesla, Lockheed Martin, and others. As the significance of all that began to register with Musk, he tweeted that satirical accounts must now include parody in both their name and bio. But if any of the fallout had come as a shock to Musk and his team, they can't say they weren't warned. Days before the November 4th launch, the company's trust and safety team had prepared a 7-page list of recommendations intended to help Musk avoid the most obvious and damaging consequences of his plans for Blue. The document, which was obtained by the platform, predicts with eerie accuracy some of the events that follow. Oh, really? So he was warned and he just ignored it. To be fair, I still think what his vision is for paid verification is the way to go. I think someone like a platform like an Instagram would be dumb not to look at something like a paid verification, because they could make so much money if they decide to do so, because there's so many pretenders on there and chancers and fake it till you make it people, myself included, who would love to have the verification on your badge, on your name, to make yourself look more legit, to carry the favor of brands, to get yourself brand deals. If Instagram introduced it, people would pay $20, $50 even for a badge. I really do think so. He continued, motivated scammers, bad actors could be willing to pay to leverage increased amplification to achieve their ends where their upside exceed the costs, reads the document's first recommendation, which the team labeled P0 to denote the concerns of the highest risk. Impersonations of world leaders, advertisers and brand partners, elections and other high-profile individuals represented the P0 risk. Legacy verifications, a critical signal in enforcing impersonation rules, the loss of which is likely to lead to an increase in impersonations of high-profile accounts on Twitter. So essentially, they said it bar for bar, word for word, and Elon was like, la 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 la, like Kanye style, just barreled through anyway. Absolute psycho of a guy. On November 1st, when the document was circulating internally, Musk was considering a $9.99 year annual subscription to Blue. Only after an exchange online with the writer, Stephen King, did he lower the cost. The move wound up increasing the risk of scams as a desire to make fun of brands and government officials became an impulsive buy at $8. And the other funny thing that he's doing, I think is flipping hilarious, is this stuff, where he's basically asking or crowdsourcing people on Twitter, ideas on how they can improve the flipping app, which is insane. If I'm not mistaken, Popesca is an EDM producer, right? He's not somebody that works in computer science. He's not he might have studied it, but he's not somebody that works in programming. He's not a developer of any sort, of any repute. And here he is giving Elon Musk advice on flipping Twitter. And he says the following. He says, I was told 1,200 RPCs independently by several engineers at Twitter, which matches my number of microservices. The ex-employee is wrong. So the ex-employee. The same app in the US takes 2 seconds to refresh, too long. But for under 20 seconds in India, due to bad patching and verbose comms. Actually, useful data transferred is low. And Popesca replies back, the batching is done server-side where the initial client request doesn't matter. GraphQL resolves the request across the microservices and tends to send it back. The internal graph is then same regardless of request origin. He replies as how many several requests are made on the app to refresh the timeline, and here's Popes going through the, I think, the public API of Twitter and flipping offering his flipping suggestions. Have not worked at Twitter, just poking around sort of thing. So this guy's out here firing actual developers and programmers at Twitter on Twitter. And he's also flipping, asking or crowdsourcing the opinions on how to improve the flipping app in real time on Twitter itself. The guy's an absolute madman, and it's absolutely fun to watch in real time. I cannot lie. Anyway, to kind of end it, because I said I'd only be going for an hour, so I'm going to quickly talk about the Brendan thing. Brendan decided to go on his Schaub show, which I called the Schaub shoe, flipping incorrectly when I was searching for the show on YouTube, like an absolute donut here, as you can see, me calling it the Schaub shoe, which is not funny in the slightest, but could be. And yeah, man, the intro is something to behold. The intro is something to behold. This is Brendan Schaub talking post UFC 281. Let's hear what he has to say.
What is up, fam? It is Monday morning, 9 o'clock a.m. on this beautiful, crisp Calabasas morning. How's everybody doing?
Great.
Jesus Christos. If ever there was an advertisement to not drink alcohol and to maybe chill out with the flipping booze, especially myself, right? I mean, this is kind of I'm speaking to me, right? I'm giving myself a pep talk. I'm kind of preaching to the choir. But if ever there was an advertisement to really chill out with the partying, chill out with the drugs, chill out with the going out, this might be it. Jesus Crispy. Look at this guy, brother. Because the funny thing is, I think I mentioned it elsewhere, he, you know, apart from everything else, you know, this guy's a what? Multi-millionaire. He's probably got a Rolex on, a very expensive jacket. He's probably wearing some expensive shoes. He got a fresh haircut, all that malarkey. You know, a really swanky studio, a producer that works on it, like all this good stuff that looks great, advertisers, whatever it may be. But when you look at the face never lies, isn't it? That looks like somebody that's been out raving. And that's the thing that really looks crazy about it. He doesn't even party. Not in a conventional sense. He's not going out to a club. He's not, you know, doing all that sort of stuff. He's performing at comedy shows, taking pictures with fans and drinking on stage. But that's it. But just from drinking alone every single day, mostly in the morning and the afternoon, I'm assuming, and then driving back home drunk, right? This is what you end up looking like. He looks absolutely terrible. Terrible. And this guy's drinking booze at 9 a.m. in the morning as he's recording this show. 9 a.m.
What is up, fam? It is Monday morning, 9 o'clock a.m.
Look at how sunken and bruised up and horrendous his eyes look, man. Like, this is the interesting part, I think I've mentioned before, because I'm quite naive and ignorant to these things because I just assume you can just do whatever you need to do if you have balance. But the actuality in life is that at a certain age, I'll probably have to stop everything. At the moment, I only go out and go crazy on the weekends, if that. But I know eventually I'll have to stop everything if I want my face not to look like this, and I want to make sure that my organs and my body is not in a terrible state. I'll just have to sack off everything and go completely sober. I know that's what I have to end up doing, right? Or I'm having to do that in the future. But one thing that's really enlightening and really kind of sobering to see is how brutal alcohol is and how it affects you. Because the thing with Brendan is that he didn't start drinking properly or heavily until he's like mid-30s. For the longest time, me being a fan, I remember when Brendan used to brag about being sober. He'd brag about being a stand-up comedian who doesn't need to drink, being a stand-up comedian doesn't need to stay out late. He does his show, he hangs out a bit, and then he goes home to his family. And he kind of lent in a bit to that whole idea that because he's a former professional athlete, that he has this athlete's mindset when it comes to stand up, and that even though he's not that talented at it, the fact that he's treating it like a sport and doing the sets and the reps every single day, that's how he's, you know, been able to jump the line, jump the queue, and get all these deals and get a special so early and whatever it is, and make so much money so quickly in a short space of time because he was treating like an athlete and he wasn't indulging in what, you know, comedians do, which is kind of indulging in vices and drugs and alcohol and girls and stuff. He was just keeping himself clean, not doing anything. Then, of course, something changed. I think the thing that changed was when he heard that Rogan story, where Rogan shared a couple of times that before he gets on stage, he doesn't necessarily do that many drugs apart from, you know, the drugs that he uses to work out and the drugs that he smokes and deals to, you know. But in general, I remember he shared some story, I think off the back of Dave Chappelle, because he smokes those cigarettes. I remember Joe sharing a story on his podcast where he said sometimes before a show, he'll take a pull of a cigarette just to get the nicotine hit. And I guess if you don't smoke often, or at all, if you do take a drag of a nicotine, or take a drag of a cigarette, the nicotine can hit you and maybe give you a little bit of a jolt of energy and whatever excitement before you go onto the stage. So that maybe can help. And I think he also mentioned one time that he doesn't drink too much either when he's on stage, but sometimes he'll take a shot. I think he said tequila or maybe it was vodka, I'm not too sure, and a pull on a cigarette before he goes on to give him a little bit of a jolt to get him into the mood. And I think Brendan heard that and started doing that himself. And then, of course, you know, this guy always takes things to the excess, to the extreme, and he decided to then indulge properly into drinking heavily. I think that's what happened. But that aside, it is pretty gnarly to see how quickly alcohol can deteriorate you in like, 4 years or something. He's been drinking heavily, and now look how he looks. He slurs his words, you know, he mispronounces things more than ever, and it generally has made his face look horrendous. And this is what I meant before when I said that I'm one of the people that believe that he definitely looked handsome before. He definitely looked like a good-looking dude. I can imagine if you're a comedian and you saw him pulling up, being 6 foot, whatever it may be, with a big frame, having that cool Peaky Blinders haircut, looking a certain way with his tattoos. I can understand why some guys would feel inadequate and would say, oh, wow, he's really hot compared to me. I don't have fun. But now he's starting to look like every other comedian, especially now that he's wearing the clothes that he wears and whatnot. But face-wise, he looks like every other comedian. He's got that red puffy face, just full up with like free drinks that he gets when he does stand up, and filled with fucking fried food that you're eating late at night when you're doing stand up also. Like, he just looks a mess completely, absolute mess. But like I said, like, it's crazy how quickly alcohol can age you. And there could be an argument to be said that alcohol itself may be way more detrimental than doing Class A drugs on their own. I know they usually go hand in hand. It's very rare to find somebody that does Class A drugs and who also doesn't drink alcohol. It's very, very rare. But I would imagine if you put people side by side and said, this person has been doing, I don't know, cocaine for 4 years, and this person has been drinking heavily for 4 years, I think you could see a real difference in what they look like in terms of, you know, looking haggard and whatnot, more so in the person that drinks booze as opposed to the person that does drugs. I'd imagine so. Or maybe I'm off the mark. I'm not really too sure. But let's play a little bit more of the clip.
On this beautiful, crisp Calabasas morning. How's everybody?
Also, why can't you pronounce crisp? Why is he saying crisp? Me personally, I think it's laziness. I don't think he has a speech impediment. I've got one because I sometimes stutter on my words. You can sometimes notice when I get a bit too excited, I'll kind of, you know, be steamrolling through my words. I've got a legit speech impediment, but I've had it since I was a kid. And sometimes if I just you know, if I just take my time and, you know, with my sentences and my words, it completely clears up. But I think with him, it's just pure laziness. He just can't be bothered to pronounce things. And it's like, whatever comes out, you get it, you get it. If you get it, you get it. If you don't, you don't, kind of thing.
How you doing?
Great.
I like how Chin answered. I was talking to the fans out there because I can hear you guys.
Jesus.
Chin's
Yeah.
I'm actually all right. You know what? That has been great.
Uche makes a good point here. Alcohol is especially worse because it's sold everywhere. 100% agree with that one. Why isn't the chat coming up on the screen, by the way? Huh. Why is it not coming up on the screen? I do not know. I do not know why the chat is not on the screen. But anyway, regardless, people say, Uche saying here, when you sit down at a restaurant, the waiter doesn't ask you if you want heroin to go with your meal. Exactly. Exactly. You want a quick little bump, mate? Would you like a bump? Would you like a little bit of brown, mate? With your lasagna? A little bit of brown with your flipping steak? Obviously that doesn't happen, but yeah, big up.
What's up, man? Straight off the plane, I almost said boat. Straight off the plane from Houston, Texas. Shout out to H-Town. Had a grand old time out in H-Town, man. A really good time. Love Texas. Texas back to back for your boy. Can't get enough of Texas.
Jesus Christ, he looks horrendous. He looks so bad.
A lot of Tiger Thick out there. A lot of Tiger Thick. It's our biggest market. So I was meeting with specs and meeting with distributors. Your boy was working even when he wasn't on stage, but it was a grand old time. Shout out to everybody who came out. Yeah, the only bad thing is when you do this stuff, you know, I couldn't watch the UFC 281 live. Obviously, I know what's going on because when we do the meet and greets, even fans that come up to me like, dude, you see what happened to Izzy? I'm like, thank you. No, I didn't. Thank you. So there's no way to not hear about it. So
I love this humble brag section, innit? I was a big dog in Texas. I was slinging my Tiger Fit cum whiskey to everybody. All the fans were telling me about 281. All the fans were telling me about the results. All the fans. I love the humble brag segment at the start of the pod. I love it.
I watched it last night and once again this morning. So, you know, let's get right into UFC 281. Hell of a card from top to bottom. My God. There's finishes on finishes on finishes, especially on the main card, all finishes.
Anyway, I don't care what he has to say about that. Yeah, UFC 281 was flipping sick. So anyway, whatever. Let him say what he wants to say about that. I don't care. Move on from that one quickly. And then let me say a couple more things before I have to jet. My bad. Let's just move us on here. Let's put this on here because I think this was quite interesting. Yeah, why isn't my chat showing in the thing? What's happening? It was on there before. Why is it showing on the screen? Why is there no flipping chat box? What's happening here? Why is there no chat box? That's annoying. I just noticed it right now, actually. That's really, really annoying. I want you guys to take part in the show. This is an interactive community stream. This isn't just me ranting. You guys should be on here too. I don't know why. I didn't change anything. I didn't change a single thing. But for some reason, there's no flipping chat box on my flipping screen. Why is that happening? I guess I have to reinstall and go again or whatever it may be. But for some reason, this thing isn't working, brother. Like, Wagwan. Wagwan. Not been there all stream. Yeah, why isn't it not there? This is annoying. I just literally noticed it. Flipping now. So annoying! Anyway, regardless. Anyway, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. We are here. No, it's on here. It's on stream, Uche. It's actually, I can see the box right here, but for some reason, it's not in front of my face. I can't see the words. It's not buried underneath anything. It's right there, but for some reason, it just isn't showing up, and I have no idea why. I didn't change a single setting before I started this. Not one single setting I didn't change, but for some reason, it's deciding not to flipping work for me. Like, just brilliant, isn't it? Absolutely flipping brilliant. Disable message animations. No. What's happening here? What's going on? Like, why isn't it flipping working? I wonder why. Let's quickly check this. Maybe it's the YouTube Studio app that's maybe causing the issue. Is that the issue? I can see the chat anyway, so it doesn't necessarily matter in that regard. I can see it, but I would like to see it on the screen. But, you know, we can't have everything in life, innit? We can't have everything. Anyway, another thing I want to quickly touch upon before we leave here. Have you guys seen this? This is absolutely brutal. No, the writing's not in black. No, it's not. Is the writing in black? Let me double check. I don't think it is. Hopefully it isn't. Let me not embarrass myself. Let me not embarrass myself. No, it's not. The writing isn't in black. The writing is in yellow, as it always is, to be honest. I always have it in like that yellowish type color. Yeah, it's there. It's fucking there. For some reason, it's not flipping loading up. I don't know why. Let me make it to green to what happens. Nothing's happening. I don't know why that is the case. I really don't know. I don't know what I've done. I don't know if it's me or whatever, but maybe it's me. Yeah, exactly. May recommend computer classes that have been fun. Yeah, you're funny, TV Huck. You are funny. You are funny. Funny, wani. Anyway, moving on. Have you guys seen this? This is absolutely brutal. Big up Bryan Callen for sharing this post of himself with a guy called Harry, what's his name? Harry Connick Jr. Don't know who that is, don't really care, but I guess he was feeling sentimental and wanted to do a little throwback of himself. And usually I feel like whenever people, because I have a tendency sometimes to share throwbacks, but usually because I don't post anything on my socials, but I feel like sometimes when you do it, it kind of gives the impression that you're longing for that time. You're kind of missing out on that time. You kind of feel like time is slipping you by. You're not probably as hot as you once were. You're not skinny as you once were, successful as you once were. But in general, it kind of gives me the idea that maybe you're not happy with your current moment, your current present self. And that's what I get to with throwbacks, especially stuff like this, because this clearly was a time when, you know, Bryan wasn't cancelled. He didn't have an R-word allegation over his flipping head, and he was living a leader loca and well on his way to becoming the next iteration of flipping Tom Hanks. But things changed and things went crazy. But the thing I wanted to say that was awful about this, you know, he's just sharing a really innocent, you know, little throwback with him and his friend, you know, remembering some of the old time. But look at this brutal comment here. This from this person. The internet is so cruel. Look at this brutal comment here from Marshall. Look at that. That is so unnecessarily mean. Just think, all these years later, you get to host a pod with Schaub. I saw it randomly. I was like, people on the internet are so unnecessarily mean. He's just sharing a flipping innocent picture with his friend from back when he was really successful and he was doing a damn B, and then this person decides to flipping flame him out of absolutely nowhere. Exactly as flipping Uche mentioned, 52 likes, like absolutely brutal. And I think Bryan actually replied too, so you can see. So I'm not sure if Bryan missed the point of the insult or he replied because he just felt, you know, aggrieved. But I thought the reply made it extra sad. Look at the reply from Bryan Callen underneath. I'm living many dreams right now, my man. He didn't get ratioed, luckily. You know, Bryan Callen's flipping sycophants and fanboys came out and made him feel good with some likes. But that is absolutely brutal, isn't it? You're speaking 30 years later. You're single with Schaub. Honestly, that's gotta hurt. That really has to hurt your flipping ego. That clearly has to hurt, in my opinion. But hey, what do I know? And then the other thing that I thought was really funny and I thought was really interesting that showed that clearly this guy is suffering or wants the good times to come back, which I thought was kind of sad, was this post. You seen this one? This Throwback Thursday post again that he posted with himself with Rogan, looking cute, looking cool, looking cancelled and stuff, looking young and whatnot. And clearly he's longing for that friendship and that bond to go back to what it once was. But when you have an R-word charge over your head, you know, unfortunately, when you're the biggest podcaster in the world and you just signed a $1 billion deal with flipping Spotify, you really can't be having that guy on your pod to defend themselves. Even though I think that was really out of order, I do think Rogan should have stepped up for his friend. Even if it didn't mean he defended him, even if it didn't mean he got Callen on his show to defend himself, but even defending him in public would have gone a long way. But the fact that he completely excommunicated himself from Bryan Callen and basically told him, you're on your own, Jack, was really, really horrible. And now here's Bryan flipping posting these throwbacks of himself with Rogan in an effort to maybe get himself back in a good graces with the big guy. The only good thing I think off the back of it is the fact that he didn't tag Rogan. I think that's the one thing that's pretty cool. I think if you would have tagged him, that would have been really... Oh, he did tag him. He did tag him. No, he tagged him. Oh, cringe. He wants that good. It's like when you're longing for that girl back, right? That gave you the finger and told you to skedazzle. You want that good tang back. You can't have it back anymore, man. He's out there in Austin. He's got new friends now. He's got a whole new crew of guys. The Save Our Parks crew have basically taken over from the Fight Companion crew. It's completely gone. It's completely finished. That stuff is over. Unfortunately, Bryan Callen has to move on. But I thought this was really sad and showed that clearly the relationship isn't where it was once before. I'm talking out my ass. I know nothing about these people personally, but I think the relationship isn't where it once was, and they are never really that close anymore. Anyway, that has been me. For some reason, the stream chat hasn't been working the entire time. Classic Agostino. But I'm going to leave anyway regardless because I have to jet off and I have some appointments to go to. So thank you so much for those of you that have tuned in. Hopefully you enjoyed it. There's going to be a live, a premiere of my podcast later as well. So tune into the episode number 620 of the AgostinhoZinga show on my channel. Don't delay. Check that out today. I think the audio version of the pod is actually out now. If you want to check that out, you can also. I think it's available. It should be available. Even though the flipping chat wasn't up. It's so annoying. I might have to restart my whole thing and see if it starts again. But I think it might be in my Streamlabs. But regardless, my new episode of my flipping podcast is out also. So check that out. If you want to watch the video portion of it, 6:20 will be out in a couple of hours. Check out my YouTube channel. You know where to find it. You'll see the premiere on there. I'll see some of you guys in the stream chat if you want to hang out and talk on there. That'd be greatly appreciated. But apart from that, if you enjoyed the stream, make sure you make sure you're smashing that like button. Don't delay. Like the stream. If you haven't already, like the bloody stream. And I'll see you guys again very, very soon. Thank you for hanging out with me. Big up the chat. Big up your Orient Chip. Big up Proven187. Andrew. Big up TV Hawk. Big up Dennis Streeter. Big up Wakey. Big up Uche as per usual. Who else is in here? Big up Charles. Big up Tom. Big up everybody else in the stream chat. I appreciate all of you guys, and I'll see you again very, very soon. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you soon. Take care. Peace.